What's up, peeps? I want to talk to you today about Social Security, or really any Ponzi scheme. It doesn't really matter whether it's military spending or currency or any sort of social program, but Social Security is a perfect example. And I've come to realize that if we took, let's say, 99 out of 100 normal people, whatever, just your friends, family, people off the street, and sat them down, 99 out of 100 of them would say pretty much the exact same three things, almost in sequence every time. And this is important to understand because I think it can help us to address the problem in a more realistic manner. If we can understand the way that basically everyone's thinking about it the same way, regardless of Democrats, whether it's Republicans, independents, whatever false dichotomy you want to talk about, whatever political whatever political association somebody might have, everyone's really thinking about Social Security or any Ponzi scheme in exactly the same manner. And they'll say the exact same three things. And the first one of those is, it's not the best we can do. Everyone understands we could probably do better. We could come up with a better system. It may not be the worst possible thing. Most people would say, who are in support of it, would say, well, it's better than letting people starve to death or letting people bleed to death on the streets, which of course is what would happen if we got rid of it. But most people would say, well, I'm sure there's better options. We don't know what they are. We haven't figured them out yet. Whatever other justification they want to have for not having thought about it for 5 minutes or knowing anything about investing. People would say, well, it's not the best we could do. The second thing people would say is, it can't last forever. And especially once presented with the information, everyone will pretty much agree it can't last forever. In 1945, Social Security had 41.9 workers for every person receiving benefits. In 2010, Social Security had 2.9 workers for every person receiving benefits. And this is directly off of the Social Security website. So where is that trend going? And everyone would pretty much look at that and say, that's unsustainable. That, especially trending that way, that can't continue. And the root of this is that Ponzi schemes are based on paying old members with the money of new members. For example, Bernie Madoff, you get somebody to invest, quote, invest with you, and then you pay them back a portion of their money. You obviously keep some for yourself, and then you go recruit a new member, and then you pay the both of them with the new member's money. And if you can keep doing this with newer and newer members, then you can continue to run the Ponzi scheme. The problem is that we live in a finite world. There's a limited number of people, there's a limited number of resources, and a Ponzi scheme is based upon the premise of infinite growth. So Ponzi schemes, you have to keep getting new members into the Ponzi scheme in order to keep going with it. The housing crisis or housing bubble of 2007 is a perfect example. They flooded the market with all kinds of easy money, got all kinds of new people buying houses. Well, once that evened off and you had people with crazy mortgages that they couldn't afford because they were planning to flip houses, well, they got foreclosed on, and then that caused housing prices to start dropping. And then as those were dropping, even more people got foreclosed on, and so that created the big problem in the first place. And it doesn't really matter if you want to talk about the currency being this way or the budget being this way or whatever it is. You have to keep getting new members to pay out all of the old members. So it's based on infinite growth in a finite world. It has to end. All Ponzi schemes will come to an end at some point. And everyone, if you sat people down, they would say that. But here's the kicker. The third thing that basically everyone would say, friends, family, Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter, whomever. Basically, everyone would say, that's fine. I understand we could do something better. I understand it can't last forever. But I got to get mine. I got to get what I'm owed. I paid into this. I was promised something. I deserve something. I'm entitled to something. I should get these benefits. I'm planning on this thing. I'm planning on getting this paycheck. I'm planning on having the housing prices rise infinitely forever. A good analogy might be a sinking ship. Everyone could look at that and say, yeah, that ship is sinking. It is going to go under. And everyone who's still left on board is going to die. But then everyone might say, well, here's my plan. We could maybe bail water to keep the ship afloat long enough in order for me to die a peaceful, natural death and enjoy all the benefits of floating on the sea in this manner. Even better, let's have a bunch of kids. Then they can spend their time bailing out the boat while we hang out until we're no longer around. And then they'll be the ones having kids, bailing the boat out. Well, they get to hang around. And then you guys can do it, you can change course or do something radical or get a better, whatever it is that you think your crazy solution to this sinking ship scenario is, then you can try it. After I've gotten what was my promised ride on this sinking ship, then you guys go ahead and do whatever. And it's important to understand that Ponzi schemes operate in this way, that the perfect example is Social Security, because you require these 2.9 workers to keep paying in order to pay the one person getting the benefits. So that means that no one ever wants to end it. The longer you go paying into the system, the more entitled you feel to that. The longer you keep paying into this thing, the more you want to get the benefit at the end. And the longer you go, the more you're planning on getting the benefit at the end. And that's really the problem with Ponzi schemes, is that it's essentially a rotating cycle of self-interest where the money is disappearing down a hole. It's based on an unsustainable model. There is no infinite growth in a finite world, so it has to end. It will come to an end. It's important to understand that this is the way that Ponzi schemes operate, and this is the way Ponzi schemes operate inside of the people's minds who are in them. Because there's only one inevitable result from Ponzi schemes. They're going to continue on until they can continue on no further, until they implode upon themselves. And then what?